So for those of you wondering about the vehicle that we've been driving, we call it the Giraffe. It is a Troopy. Do you know what year it is?
I don't know the year. It's a 75 series, which means it's leaf sprung front and rear, so it's one of the older Troopies. So they're pretty much the same, except for engines and stuff, from when they came out in the 80s up until, was it 97, 98, somewhere around there. They got coil springs in front, and then they're called a 78 series, like they are all the way to this day. But it's one of the earlier ones with leaf springs. This thing has been red, green, and giraffe. And the guys here that we're traveling with swapped a 12 HT engine into it. We're loving it. It's an amazing engine. Super responsive, way more responsive than a 1 HDT. A bit less power maybe, but it's just a great engine. So we're also now big fans of it. The engines were all super used, like 400,000 kilometers out of Finnish trucks from Finland. And yeah, it's funny. They just pulled them out of these Land Cruisers that were just complete rust buckets. I mean, barely held together. Like, you'd almost consider them a wreck. Pulled the engines out, popped them in here, and then boom, we do a 3,000 kilometer test drive through the Sahara. And all of them have been doing good, just cleaning the sand out of the tuna can, checking the oil. This one's burning 0 oil. And I guess the reason they use these engines from Finland trucks is because the truck is so rusted, it's cheap, and the Finns maintain their engines to a high level, so they always seem to be in good condition. So that's what we've been driving. Other than that, it's pretty much stock. I don't think it has stock springs. It might actually. It may have really old school, you know, ARBs or something like that. It does not ride good. But just like all the other trucks, this one will get parabolic springs, which are as close as you can get to riding on coils with leaf springs. So we got to play with some of the other trucks and drive them around. Parabolics are fantastic, and if we ever have a leaf sprung truck, we'll put parabolics on it. If we could find them for our FJ40, we would have put them on that as well. And so maybe when we get home at some point, if we can find parabolics for a 40, I'm sure someone makes them. Yeah. Maybe we'll do that eventually. If we ever find ourselves driving a 75 series, going to do parabolics. But yeah, it's been pretty much perfect, right? This also has cable lockers, meaning Toyota has electronic lockers, but before they had the electronic switch on the dash like they have in 70 series, or the first couple years of 100 series for the rear locker, or 70 series as well have them. They had these levers that actually actuated just a simple cable that goes right down to the differentials. And so it's got front and rear lockers on these 2 handles. So that's also been nice. If you get crossed up in the sand and then one tire is spinning in the air with no weight on it and one is down in the sand, you can just lock it up and transfer power to the one that's got some weight on it, you know. So it's been awesome. Yeah.
And then I'll show you our bedroom where we've been sleeping. So we've been sleeping in the back, which has been really comfortable. Right now there's a guitar packed in here, but pretty basic. There's a little vent up there that you can pop open, and storage underneath the bed. Pretty simple, pretty comfortable. I'll show you the front. Those are the cable lockers, rear, front. Tim's transferring fuel to the main tank. We got some nice new seats from something else.
How we transfer fuel.
Super high tech.
So literally they were finishing swapping engines before we left at, what would we leave, 8 or 9 p.m.?
Yeah.
And we drove through the night to get to Italy and make the ferry. And so this is the wire for the transfer, and there's a switch on the dash, but there was no time to get it done. So just come up here, put it on the positive lead, and there you go, we're transferring fuel. High tech. But it's nice to have that auxiliary tank. This truck also uses so little fuel. It definitely in my opinion anyways, seems to get better mileage than the 1HDT. Although I don't know if it's technically true because it's such a different truck. This is pretty light, even though it's a Troopy. There's not much to it. There's that sleeping platform in it, auxiliary tank, 33-inch tires, and it's pretty simple otherwise. But it seems like it's getting extraordinarily good mileage. We did 3 days in the dunes and went and put fuel in, and I think we put in something like 5 gallons. So it's crazy.
Yeah.